Andy XL back with another NFXL podcast, and it's part 3 of my Week 16 preview. So I'm going to try and squeeze all the remainder of the week's games in this one. So let's crack on with it. Start with the games between both teams that are in contention for the postseason. And the first game is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Carolina Panthers. Both teams come into this game at best in different form. Both have managed to lose to the Saints in the last 2 weeks, and the Bucks have also gave away another game to the Falcons last week. The Bucks have got healthy, but seem to think they were too good for their opponents in the last 2 weeks, only to be proved wrong. They remain a team capable of being very, very good, but now they need to deliver wins rather than promise. The Panthers are a young team, particularly on offense, and are having growing pains in terms of inconsistent performances this season. As we go into the closing weeks of the regular season, that is something they cannot afford. This is the first of two critical meetings between these two teams, the other coming in week 18. The Panthers may need to win both of them to win the NFC South. The Bucks may only need to win one of them. For the season, Carolina ranked just 26th for offense, but a creditable 16th for defense. Tampa ranked 18th for offense and 24th for defense, and the defense have really struggled recently. Although they're better than that, certainly on offense, due to being so ravaged by injury earlier in the season. Rankings-wise, this is a close matchup, but the Bucks have the more experienced and talented roster, whereas the Panthers may need to be at or near their best to beat the Bucks. And the Bucks should come into this game angry with themselves and be keen to show they are much better than the sloppy performances of the last 2 weeks. Now pretty much fully healthy on offense, the Bucks should have too much firepower for the Panthers to deal with here, and the Panthers have only scored more than 17 points twice in their last 8 games. So the Bucks win this easily as long as they have finally learned that they are not so good that they can coast to wins, and this is a game they must have. Really, same applies for Carolina, mind you. Fantasy picks: Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, and Chase McLaughlin. So the clues in there that they're all Tampa Bay Bucks. I think the Bucks win this easily by 30 points to 17. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the Detroit Lions. The Steelers need a win to ensure they stay top of the AFC North. The Lions need to win all of their remaining games, so are in greater need of a win here, as a loss may all but end their postseason hopes. Even though Green Bay, obviously, somebody had to lose in that Green Bay Chicago game, it was Green Bay, so they're the target for Detroit now. The Lions are hugely reliant on their offense to deliver them the wins they need, ranking third in the league for offense, but just 22nd for defense, and even lower for pass defense, where they rank 27th. The Steelers rely on efficiency to overcome their ranking of 20th for offense and 23rd for defense. On the face of it, the Lions have by far the better offense and also have a slight edge on defense, particularly against the run. If the Steelers are to have a chance of winning this one, their pass offense will have to exploit that Lions' area of weakness, particularly as the Lions have been the second best team for wide receivers to face. Tight ends have done really well against the Steelers, so this is a game where Sam Laporta will be badly missed by the Lions. Both teams have been tough matchups. The Steelers allow more yards to opposing running backs, but have conceded just 6 touchdowns to this season. So the tough matchups for running backs. So again, in the absence of Laporta, combined with this, puts the onus on the wide receiver to deliver the touchdowns to take the Lions out of the Steelers' reach here. So which quarterback is able to maximise the output of their wide receivers may well get the win in this game. DK Metcalf has to have a big game for the Steelers as the clear and dominant wide receiver on their roster. For the Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown will need to deliver in a similar way, but they also have Jameson Williams as another option that is not available to the Steelers in terms of depth. They also have to figure the Jamar Gibbs and David Montgomery 1-2 punch will deliver their fair share of blows yardage-wise too. So I have to take the Lions to win this one, but only just. Fantasy picks: Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Aaron Rodgers, and DK Metcalf, all fairly predictable, but the Lions win it 27-24. The New England Patriots at the Baltimore Ravens. Patriots will know if the Bills have won in Cleveland or not before this game is played, so we'll know if a loss would see the Bills pull level with them on wins or not if they lose here. And likewise, the Ravens will know if the Steelers have won or lost in Detroit, so we'll know if a win will take them back to the top of the AFC North or not. So both teams need a win here to protect or improve their current positions against their divisional rivals. The Ravens rankings present a false picture as the offense ranks 18th and the defense 19th in the league. But the defense has held opponents to less than 20 points in 7 of their last 9 games, whereas the offense and Lamar Jackson have not been near their best in recent games. The Patriots are ranked 7th for both offense and defense. On defense, though, they are much better against the run, where they rank 3rd, than against the pass, where they rank 18th. Looking at those rankings, the Ravens will not be able to lean on Derrick Henry as much as they would like in this game, meaning Lamar Jackson will need to get the passing game going here. And the Ravens have only allowed 4 rushing touchdowns to opposing running backs in their last 8 games. So the same may be true of Drake May and the Patriots receivers. Both defenses have been average against opposing wide receivers, but the Ravens have been tough on opposing tight ends, whereas the Patriots are the 7th best team for tight ends to face. I see this as a game between two pretty evenly matched teams, but that edge at tight end and home field advantage may be enough for the Ravens to edge this one. My fantasy pick is therefore Mark Andrews as the Ravens win it 23-20. And I have a quick sip of coffee out of my Christmas mug. Right, San Francisco 49ers at the Indianapolis Colts. A 49ers win would take them to the postseason. A loss for the Colts would pretty much end their postseason hopes. The Colts went deep into their well effort-wise last week, but still came up short in Seattle. Can they go back to that well again against another strong NFC West opponent here? The Colts' 9th-ranked offense has relied heavily on Jonathan Taylor, and their 4th-ranked run offense to overcome the 8th-ranked 49ers run defense will need to happen here. So that has to be their way to score in this game, rather than looking for too much from Philip Rivers and the pass game. They also need their 17th ranked defense to step up on that ranking against the 10th ranked offense of the 49ers, and particularly their pass defense, which ranks 31st for yardage conceded against the 49ers' 5th ranked pass offense. The 49ers wide receivers look set to get them plenty of yardage here, but they may need to get into the red zone, end zone as much via the ground game as by the pass. For the Colts to overcome San Fran, their red zone D needs to prevent them from doing so, as they did so well in Seattle last week. Whilst the O line needs to open the lanes for Jonathan Taylor to exploit. With Ricky Pearsall out for this game, that weakens the 49ers wide receiver core, and I could actually see Taylor in the running game doing enough with the help of a stout defensive effort to get the Colts the win here. So I'm taking the fantasy picks of Jonathan Taylor and Jauan Jennings, but the Colts to win it 24-19 in a bit of a surprise result. Right, next game, Jacksonville Jaguars at the Denver Broncos. Both teams come off strong Week 15 performances. The Broncos have secured their postseason berth now, and now they want wins to make them AFC West champions and then to get the top seeding from the AFC for the postseason. The Jags need a win here to, in all likelihood, hold on to the lead of the AFC South, with the Texans likely to win this week. A win with either of the Colts or Texans failing to win would secure their place in the postseason. That's for Denver. But to get that win, their 12th ranked offense will need to put points on the board. Sorry, let's go back there. Forget that last bit. But to get that win, their 12th ranked offense will need to put points on the board against the 4th ranked defense of the Broncos. So I'm talking about the Jags. For them to qualify for the postseason, sorry, confused with your own skip, they'll need to win this along with either a Colts or Texans failing to win would put the Jags in the postseason. Retrade gone. But same can be said of the Broncos' 12th ranked offense against the 10th ranked Jags defense. Both defenses have been tough on opposing running backs, especially on the ground. The Broncos secondary has conceded just 5 touchdowns to opposing wide receivers, but both teams have been less effective against tight ends. And that edge in terms of TD scoring at wide receiver for the Broncos could be decisive here, as the Broncos outscore the Jags, provided Bo Nix does not give the Jags ball-hawking secondary a premature gift or two for Christmas in the guise of picks. So I'll take Courtland Sutton and Troy Franklin as the players to watch for Denver, as they win 24-20. Right, on to the games between teams going for the postseason and teams out of contention. Los Angeles Chargers at the Dallas Cowboys. So these two teams have headed in opposite directions in the last 2 weeks. The Chargers have battled to 2 wins, whilst the fickle Cowboys have fallen to 2 disappointing losses. And with Philadelphia winning, that virtually puts Dallas out of the postseason. Whilst the offense has done its best, the depleted O-line for the Chargers, it ranks 17th in the league, whereas the 5th-ranked defense has been their real strength. That O-line has allowed Justin Herbert to be sacked no fewer than 49 times this season, and that pressure has seen Herbert throw 12 picks when he had just 10 in the last 2 seasons combined. The Cowboys' 4th-ranked offense carried them along for most of the season, and the defense looked to be much improved before they conceded 74 points in the last 2 games. As these Cowboys are now effectively out of the postseason, that offense and their pass rush on defense will need to be buying the drinks this week for the rest of the team. But they do not have a great pass rush, and can the offense overcome this strong Chargers D? The Chargers are the worst team for opposing wide receivers to face, so this could be a tough assignment for CD Lamb and George Pickens. They are also the 7th worst to face for other teams' tight ends, so Jake Ferguson may not fare much better, and that means bad news with Dak Prescott. They have not conceded a receiving touchdown to an opposing running back this season, so what joy the Cowboys have from their running backs will come on the ground. The Cowboys D has also been pretty good against tight ends, but in the last 2 games have given up 6 rushing touchdowns and 3 to wide receivers, all to wide receiver 3 or slot type guys. I will take the Chargers to limit the Cowboys' offense and maybe get a pick or 2, allowing the Chargers' offense to do enough to get them the win that will, along with the Colts or Texans' loss, put them in the postseason for sure. My fantasy picks in this game, there's plenty of them. Justin Herbert, Amarian Hampton, Ladd McConkey, Trey Harris in the absence of Quinton Johnson, who may miss. The Chargers D, I think, will have a good game, and Javonte Williams for the Cowboys. But I'm taking the Chargers to win this 31-23. Right, on to the Buffalo Bills at Cleveland Browns. With the Patriots playing later in Baltimore, the Bills have a chance to pull level with them on wins by beating Cleveland in the early slot. The Bills' 3rd-ranked offense matches up quite well against the Browns' 11th-ranked defense, but their 14th-ranked defense should have little trouble dealing with the 30th-ranked Browns offense, as long as the Bills' 31st-ranked run defense does not allow Quinshon Judkins to run all over them. Josh Allen has led the Bills to Josh Allen has led this Bills offense superbly for years now, but they have become over-reliant on him. As I've said in many other pieces this season, they need to take some of the load off him and give it to James Cook. In all 4 games the Bills have lost this season, Cook had 17 or fewer carries, whilst Allen had multiple turnovers in those games. So the simple lesson is, let Cook have 20 carries and you increase your chance of winning greatly. For the Browns, all we are really watching here is how many sacks Myles Garrett will get and how does Shedeur Sanders do at quarterback. This could be tough for Sanders against the 4th-ranked pass defense of the Bills. Josh Allen has been sacked 33 times this season, though, so this could be the week Garrett breaks the official record and maybe even ties the unofficial one. The Bills should be the 12th team to keep the Browns to 20 points or less, and if they do, are almost certain via a balanced offense to comfortably score more than 20 to get the win they need. The only fantasy pick I can really see in this game is the Buffalo D, as the Buffalo win by 27-17. Now on to what's going to be I think it's going to be one of the biggest mismatches of the season. Las Vegas Raiders at the Houston Texans. The Texans are on a 6-game winning streak with one of the most potent pass rushes in the league. Meet a Raiders team that has lost 8 in a row and has allowed their quarterback to be sacked 54 times this season. This should be an absolute rout as the Texans destroy the Raiders here. The Raiders have barely averaged 10 points a game in their last 6 games. The defense has done well against tight ends, but wide receivers and running backs have done well against them. So Woody Marks looks like he might make this game, and if healthy, will run for plenty it depends who's at running back, really. It doesn't matter who's at running back. Woody Marks, Nick Chubb, Jawar Jordan, even whoever gets the carries for Houston is going to get plenty. Whilst Nico Collins and Jaden Higgins enjoy themselves, as does CJ Stroud, whilst their deep had their stats for the season. Oh, and of course, Kaimi Fairbairn, as usual, and make good fantasy picks for week 16. So all of those are my fantasy picks as Houston absolutely hammer the Raiders 34-10. Right, that just leaves the games between teams that are out of contention. So all of the remaining 5 games are between those teams. So I will just give fantasy picks and score predictions for these Who Cares Bowls. One thing to note in the first one, Cincinnati Bengals at Miami Dolphins. Quinn Ewers takes over at quarterback for Miami. My fantasy picks are Devon Achane and Darren Waller, and also Joe Burrow and Mike Gesicki for the Bengals, as the Bengals win 27-24. Kansas City Chiefs at the Tennessee Titans. Well, having got eliminated from the postseason, all of a sudden the Chiefs have a monstrous injury list. Their O line is one of them, but they're also severely depleted at wide receiver. So I'm actually going to say the fantasy picks are Kareem Hunt for the Chiefs and the Tennessee D, as Tennessee shocked the Chiefs 24-20. New York Jets at the New Orleans Saints. Not going to really say anything about this. Tyler Shug could have another good game, so I'm taking him and Chris Olave to be the fantasy picks, as the Saints get a third win in a row by beating the Jets 27-17. Minnesota Vikings at the New York Giants. My fantasy picks are JJ McCarthy, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and Aaron Jones. So guess what? I'm going for a Vikings win 34-20. Atlanta Falcons at the Arizona Cardinals. Marvin Harrison seems like he's going to be back for the Cardinals here. So he and Michael Wilson might share the wealth more than Michael Wilson, having had really good weeks recently. So I'm leaving them out of my fantasy picks. But Jacoby Brissett, Trey McBride, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson are the ones to watch. In a really close game, I'm going to take Arizona to win by 24-23. And that rounds out my week 16 preview. So all it leaves me to say is enjoy tonight's games. And let's see if I can avoid. I'm 1-2 for the week, by the way, but I must be feeling like the Rams and the Packers. How I'm not 3-0, I don't know, because I took both of those teams to win, and that's led me to being 1-2. But anyway, let's look to bounce back on Sunday and Monday. So enjoy tonight's games, and I'll see you soon.